Okay.
Hello, everyone. Today we are coming to you from my dining room with my best friend Brian Creutz. I'm Tim Costigan, and we are now starting a podcast that we're going to call the Dirty Cleats. Don't be clean, get a little messy, get your cleats dirty, and we're going to talk about football and every sport you want to talk about. When you want to talk about it, you'll see us online.
Nice intro, Tim.
Well, thank you.
What do you want to talk about today? I thought we would talk about the teams that we thought would make the playoffs and ultimately who's going to win the Super Bowl.
For the season coming up,
Yeah,
I
for
totally agree.
2024 season. So, do you want to kick things off?
Sure. You want me to do the whole first round or what?
Sure. You can do the whole shebang.
I'll do my first round. I'll start with the AFC. First round in the AFC. On my 5 seed, I have the Ravens. 4, the Jags. In the 6-3 game, I have the Jets as the number 6. Buffalo is the number 3. Miami is the 7. Cincinnati as the 2. Kansas City with the bye. On the NFC side, I have Dallas with the number 5. New Orleans with the number 4. I have Atlanta with the 6. And Detroit with the 3. Green Bay with the 7. San Francisco with the 2. And Eagles with the bye.
Okay. My first round of the AFC, I have the Cincinnati Bengals with the 1 seed. I have the Chargers with the 2nd seed. I have the Miami Dolphins as the 3rd seed. 4th seed I have as the Jacksonville Jaguars. The 5th seed I have the Kansas City Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to slide a little bit this year. I don't think they have the receivers to do it. They have Kelsey, but Kelsey's 33 years old, and he's aging, and eventually luck's going to run out for them now. I like Andy Reid as a coach. I just starting to think that some of their talent's starting to deplete a little bit. That's why I got them lower.
I think you're a little bitter from the loss of the Chiefs last year in the Super Bowl.
Possibly.
That might be what it is.
It could be, but Mahomes is good, but I mean, he can only do so much, I think. And then
Not according to your nephew.
Well, he's one of his favorites. The 6th seed I have is the Buffalo Bills. I also think they're going to take a slide this year.
I agree there.
I don't think Allen. I think Allen's good, but I think Diggs and Allen have some friction there, and I kind of wonder about the running game. You can't keep running Josh Allen all the time and hope that he does not get injured, and that could be a possibility of hurting their team.
I don't like the chemistry between Diggs and Allen anymore at all. I don't think Diggs wants to be there.
I don't think so either. I don't think he wants to be there 1 or 2. He wants to be there, but he wants to have more passes and be more involved.
In all honesty, with that Minnesota cuts he made a couple years ago, you really can't blame him.
No, you can't. You can't. And then my 7th seed, which, I got the Cleveland Browns. I'm not the biggest Deshaun Watson fan. You know, everybody knows what's happened with him and stuff, but they do have some talented receivers. They got a really talented running back in Nick Chubb. But that's my AFC side. And I also think the Chargers at number 2 are going to climb up the ladder. I think if they're all healthy and they have a new offensive coordinator, the offensive coordinator is going to change a lot of things. I think they're going to pass more than run. And our defense is pretty tough. As long as the defense and the offense stays healthy, that's going to be a tough team to beat. But that's my AFC side. My NFC side is, is at the number 1 seed.
I make sure I turn my phone off in case this thing goes off when we're doing this.
I got you.
Sorry.
My number 1 seed, Philadelphia Eagles. I'm a big Eagles
It's
fan.
always the same with them.
Fly Eagles fly. You know.
Die Eagles die.
We'll see. The number 2 seed, I have the Minnesota Vikings. I still think they're tough. Kirk Cousins still lacks a little bit, but the talent around him with Justin Jefferson, the rookie that they also drafted, and T.J. Hawkinson, their tight end, gives them a potent offense, I believe. The loss of Dalvin Cook might hurt them a little bit, although I would think Alexander Madison can pick up the slack a little bit, if healthy. Number 3, I have the Seattle Seahawks. They picked up another running back in the draft. They picked up a young wide receiver from Ohio State. their offense is really good, and plus they always play with a good defense. So in that division, I think they can overtake San Francisco, honestly. Number 4, I have the Falcons winning the division because, well, it's kind of a crapshoot in that division, and plus they added the firepower of Bijan Robinson, a running back, and this team loves to run the ball. Their defense is suspect, but their offense could be solid, even though Desmond Ridder, he's not the best starting quarterback in the NFL. He's not probably the worst. Number 5, I have the San Francisco 49ers. A lot of people are high on this team. Myself, I'm not crazy about them because as they do have a talented team as far as receiving positions and defense and other offensive positions, and their offensive line's pretty good. I think their weakness is going to be Brock Purdy. I mean, I could be wrong.
I still like Trey Lance. I agree with you. I don't understand that.
Trey Lance, I don't think he's been stayed healthy enough, and he hasn't played enough games in his career as far as the NFL or even college. And I don't know if maybe he doesn't grasp the game as well as they thought he would.
Maybe they need to trade him and get another quarterback.
They talked about that, but again, I don't think the 49ers have what it takes as much as other people do. I think Brock Purdy is going to be their Achilles heel, honestly. So we'll see what happens there. My number 6 team, the Detroit Lions. This team has been soaring. They're pretty high on other people's list. I like them a lot. I kind of like the coach's approach to the game. He's got like an old school mentality with running the ball and defense, which I think is good.
I don't know what you need. What?
Oh.
Excuse me, we had an interruption
Yeah,
from
sorry.
the living room.
It was a technical difficulty there. That's okay though. We had a rogue cat somewhere. I don't know. We got cat
Sure where
dogs.
it's at.
We got cat dogs here.
I got birds at my work too.
The birds. We got a little bit of everything going on here. But continuing, Lions are my 6th seed. I think they're going to be a really good team. I have the Giants as the 7th seed. This team will go as far as Saquon Barkley can take them. I don't think Daniel Jones. I think he's okay. He doesn't have much to throw to. They did, get Darren Waller this offseason, which I think is an upgrade for them. But other than that, they don't really have anybody else to throw.
I never can understand why their tight end is always their number 1 option on the passing game. With the Giants, I don't get that.
Well, I mean, they used to have receivers back in the day, and we're going to show our age here, but like Amari Toomer, and they had a bunch of...
Yeah. It ended with OBJ about that time. They didn't get him anymore.
And OBJ, but like, for some reason they just couldn't get the other wide receiving talent there. They're my fringe 7th there. I don't think they'll go as far as most people think they will, but I could be wrong. So, all right, Tim, on to your next bout of playoffs.
We're going to the divisional AFC, so this will be quicker. And I'm going to be a little bit more like Brian this time and elaborate. I got the Jacksonville Jaguars against Kansas City Chiefs. And all I have to say is 2 words: Patrick Mahomes. So we know who's winning that one. And then in the other game, I got the New York Jets with Aaron Rodgers and the Bengals. And maybe I'm a little of a homer, but I'm still hoping for a miracle, and I picked the Bengals. So the AFC Championship will be Cincinnati and Kansas City. In the divisional round on the NFC, I have Atlanta going up against Philly, Philly had the bye, and I have Philly winning that. I mean, Battle of the Birds, but we know Philadelphia's pretty damn good.
Yes, they are. Fly Eagles
You
fly.
don't need to interrupt.
Fly Eagles fly.
And then I have Dallas, the best team in the NFC East, maybe not by the numbers, going against San Francisco, and I have San Francisco and Philly in an NFC Championship rematch of last year. And I'll tell you who, and then I'll have to tell. Okay, never mind. Your turn. I forgot I didn't want to tell them this in the championship game.
Pop your head in there a little bit, man.
Let me go over here.
All right, yeah.
that
I
better?
see that big Kansas City hat.
there.
Anyway, yeah. So, in my playoff roundup here, I have on the AFC side, the first round, I have the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Browns. In that matchup, I have the Chargers beating the Browns. I just think the Chargers have way too much talent there compared to the Browns. My next matchup, I have the Miami Dolphins versus the Buffalo Bills. I actually have Miami. Miami I have as a 3rd seed here. I got Buffalo as a 6th seed. I honestly have Miami overtaking the Bills. I think with their receivers and possibly the running back room there, possibly helping them out. As long as Tua can stay healthy and not get another concussion, I think this team will be really good. And then I have Kansas City versus the Jaguars. As much as I'd like to go for the Jaguars because, I have a soft spot for, their coach because, he helped the Eagles win a Super Bowl. So, I'd love to see them win, but honestly this year I can't see that. I still see Kansas City winning. For some reason, there is some magic with Mahomes. I think, Kansas City will win. And the NFC, I'll finish out my AFC here. So the next round in the AFC, I have the Bengals versus the Chargers and Miami versus Kansas City. Now, I see Kansas City beating Miami in this one. Even though I have the Chiefs as a 5th seed, they're still a tough team. And Miami might have a little growing to do when they're playing a team like Kansas City. My other matchup, this could be a little bit of a shocker, even in this local market that we live in, which is in the Cincinnati area. And I might get a lot of hate mail or haters or whatever for this, but I have the Chargers overtaking the Bengals in this matchup.
But I'm going to get out of the AFC West.
For some reason, I see the Chargers as one of the tougher teams in the AFC. If healthy, this team can go pretty far.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am not sure what his wife put in his Wheaties today.
I don't eat Wheaties, man. That stuff tastes like crap. And now, for my AFC Championship, I have the Chargers versus Kansas City. Again, I'm going with the Chargers on this one. I just think they have a potent defense. I think their offense is really good if healthy. They got a decent offensive line, and the quarterback has recently got paid, and he's very good. And I think the addition of the new OC will help. The only thing that's going to hurt this team, I think, possibly could be their head coach. In the past, he's made some bonehead calls. Hopefully, he's learned his lesson over the last couple of years, and that will help. So, my representative in the AFC of the Super Bowl is going to be the Chargers. Now, on to the NFC playoffs, which I'm an NFC fan. I'm an Eagles fan, so here we go.
Right.
Okay.
Here we go.
The first 3 matchups I have the Vikings versus the Giants. Vikings is a 2nd seed, Giants is a 7th seed, and I got the Vikings winning that one.
I mean, JJ could do a lot for that team, but I don't know. I don't feel it.
Really?
Yeah, I don't.
You think they lose?
I think Detroit's going to win that division.
Oh, yeah, they could.
And
They could.
It's the first time the Lions have ever sold out Ford Field since, I believe, 2002.
Wow.
They've never sold the place out since it's been opened.
Really?
Except for this year, yeah.
I think they're going to be really good. I really do. But for some reason, I still think Minnesota's just a touch bit more.
They may be. I mean, I think they're good.
I'm pulling for Lions. Don't get me wrong, but
I live in Chicago. I could see all 3 of them winning that division.
Yeah.
Even the Packers.
Really? I don't know. It depends on what Love can do.
Well, Jordan Love's just like Aaron Rodgers. He sat behind Aaron Rodgers like Rodgers sat behind Favre.
That's true.
I don't think he's going to miss a beat, honestly.
I don't think he's been in many darkness retreats, though, but it's okay.
Yeah. Right.
In my second matchup, I have the Seattle Seahawks versus the Detroit Lions. Seattle I have as a 3rd seed. Detroit I have as a 6th seed. I still like the Detroit Lions a lot. And actually, in this game, I actually picked the Detroit Lions to beat Seattle. And my next matchup is the 49ers and the Atlanta Falcons. Niners being a 5th seed, Falcons being a 4th seed. And I have the Niners winning that one. I just, Falcons with the running game is good, but since they're in such a weak division, that's why they got the 4th seed and got in. I don't think they could take the Niners there. The next round of matchups that I have, is the Eagles versus the Vikings and the Detroit Lions versus the 49ers. I have actually the Detroit Lions upsetting the 49ers. Again, I think eventually Brock Purdy is going to be the downfall of this team this year, and the Lions have more of a potent offense and a young and up-and-coming defense to, I think, take this game. How do you think? What do you think about that?
I think I agree with 49ers going to be musical quarterback.
Yeah.
They're so little stuck with Lance.
I mean, hell no. Yeah, I mean, if he didn't get hurt, I think he would be a better
Even if he did get hurt, somebody came back and encouraged him to get better and took time with the guy. He's a good quarterback.
I think so. Now, my next matchup, I got the Vikings versus the Eagles.
Who's winning there?
I got the Eagles winning. Vikings are good, but the Eagles just have so many weapons in so many ways. They have receivers. They got a decent running back core.
And last year they were the first place losers.
Yeah. Plus you have.
You didn't even laugh.
I heard you. plus you got Jalen Hurts. He's a hell of a quarterback. He kind of looks like Burt Reynolds the Bandit when he puts on his helmet. So me and my wife call him Burt.
Burt.
So
his birthday was the other day.
So it was. He's turned 25.
Yeah.
So we'll see how far Burt can take the team. Along with you got a great offensive line with Jason Kelsey. You got a young defense. They lost some pieces this year, but I don't think they're going to lose much of a beat. So the next round, the NFC Championship, I have the Eagles versus the Lions. And yes, I'm biased. I'm an Eagles fan. I've been an Eagles fan since the early 90s, since Cunningham, White, all them. So I got the Eagles beating the Lions. And then your matchup for Super Bowl 24 or 2024 will be, as I predicted, and we'll see what happens, is the LA Chargers and the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna pick the Eagles here. I'm an Eagles homer, I get that, but on paper they both match up well, but I just think the Eagles have that little extra. And they have a better head coach.
So they're your champion then?
Yeah,
Eagles?
I got the Eagles winning.
I forgot to tell you what champion was. My Super Bowl matchup is the Bengals and the Eagles. And since the Broncos aren't going to do anything, and I know this right away, I'm picking Cincinnati to win, but if Philadelphia beats them, then Brian wins. So either way, we're good.
Are we going?
I don't want to get screwhead Kansas City. Show that to Easton.
So if the Eagles and the Bengals play each other in the Super Bowl,
if the Bengals don't win, you win. So I'm okay with that.
Are we going to bet anything?
No, if we want to.
We don't have to. You want to bet some wings?
No, I'll try to figure out if I can get Mason and Easton to meet Trenton Irwin. He works for the aquarium.
Yeah, I know. So you don't want to make a bet?
I don't know. It's too far away. You want to do this now? You mean?
Yeah, let's make a bet now.
He's got me on the spot.
Yeah, if
how much?
We're gonna go.
We'll just do dinner. Me and Aaron take you and Amanda to dinner. If I lose,
okay.
You do it if I win.
Okay, I was just gonna do wings, but man.
No, we'll do this. We'll take you guys out.
So if I choose Jeff Ruby's, it's okay.
No, a normal price, dude. I mean, Jeff Ruby's. PW Foods will win some ratings. Jeff Ruby's. Who is this guy?
I've never been there. I've always wanted to go.
Don't take that. Your wife pay for you.
That's a possibility. We'll see. So that's kind of our predictions. We're new at this. People might see this and be like, would you guys know? We've been watching football for 30
probably
years.
Well, together, but
yeah.
Before I knew, I watched football since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
I never understood why my dad would take me always to Pittsburgh Steelers versus Bengals. I'm like, can I see somebody else play the Bengals? No, we go watch the Steelers. I said, why? Because we hate the Steelers. It's like brainwashing a kid, man.
Well, no, it's Dad was a Jazz fan back when Malone and all them, and we hated the Bulls because of Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
So
But your dad got to beat Kobe, and that was kind of cool.
Yeah, but
even for a minute.
Yeah, even for a minute, but that's why it's kind of fun through sports to see things like that, especially with our fathers and stuff, and growing up like that,
Most famous person I ever met was Dr. J.
Really?
Mm-hmm. You met Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, at Cincinnati Music Hall when I was a kid, baseball card signing event or card event during Chris Sabo's rookie year. I was walking through, he was walking through, and he didn't say much. He signed my piece of paper. Where that piece of paper is now, I have no idea.
You wish you knew.
Yeah, I kicked myself in the ass
Yeah,
every day.
right.
Trust me. But he was a nice man. I didn't pay anything for the autograph, so it was still nice to meet him. But he was pretty cool. So, but do you have anything else you want to talk about today, Tim?
I think we're good.
We kind of covered that. I do have a couple things I actually want to ask you about. Okay. So like this whole running back situation with like Josh Jacobs and the kid from the Colts, his mind escapes me right now.
Jonathan Taylor.
How do you think that's going to shake out? What do you think?
My opinion is that when it became a pass-happy league 5 to 10 years ago, and you had Tom Brady just slinging it to Edelman and Wes Welker and all that, that's when it started. Yeah. The running backs should have known they're not handing me the ball like they used to, like Jim Brown or Barry or Emmett, and they just have to realize it'll get back that way again.
Eventually.
It's just not that way now,
Yeah, I mean, do you think
once people start catching on those pass-happy leagues and draft a lot of defensive backs,
mm-hmm.
then they're going to have to focus on the run, and then you have to have defensive linemen,
So do you think Josh Jacobs will end up playing this year?
I think that they should get what they're. I mean, like what Saquon did was probably the right thing. He didn't get what he wanted. He said, "I'm not going to do it." They paid him for a 1-year deal, and he knows if he's fine, stays healthy, he gets somewhere else and gets the same deal next year.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much year to year at that point.
Yeah. But the guy from the Colts,
Josh Jacobs, I think they'll both get it.
I think they'll both. Well, I think they'll.
I
both
just
play.
don't know when and by who. You know.
The thing with the Jonathan Taylor situation is he's in this final.
That's a joke. Did Jim ever say?
Yeah.
This is probably one of the coolest guys I've ever heard as an owner. But you don't do that to your player.
No, I agree.
That's dirty.
And he doesn't have a 5th-year option because he was drafted in the 2nd round.
He wouldn't have done that with Peyton Manning. I'll tell you that right now.
Peyton Manning.
He would have never talked about him like that.
I agree. Now, there's also talk like the Raiders actually dropping the franchise tag from Jacobs, which would make him a free agent. And they talked about they
can do that?
Yeah.
I never heard of that.
So they talked about the 2 teams that would be the most interested in him.
Who was that?
Would be the Kansas City Chiefs and the Denver Broncos.
If he goes to Kansas City, he might as well mark it down as a champion then, because you're beating them.
Yeah, I agree. How would you feel if he went to your Denver Broncos?
I don't think he will.
Because you're also a Denver Broncos fan.
I don't think he will, because they got Pete Ryan and they got Javonte Williams will come back probably either maybe 2nd or 3rd week, I believe they said. So I don't think they'll try to get him, honestly.
Really?
I don't.
I don't know.
The only thing that would change that thought in my head would be Sean Payton, because he's a good player, or a good coach, coach. I think Payton will make the Broncos better real quick. I just don't see him getting Jacobs.
I agree. Well, we made our little discussions. This is our first episode of the Dirty Cleats. We're going to try to do this Mondays at 10, or Wednesdays at 10.
He doesn't even know where he is.
I'm in the jungle, baby. I don't know. But but we're going to try to do this Wednesdays at 10, and videotape it, put it on YouTube. We're also doing it, try to post it on the podcast somewhere in that kind of a form. But this is us signing off.
The bottom line is we will be better than the Kelce's. We will. He's Jason, I'm Travis. We're out of here.
Whatever. Have a good day.